Fitness Pro Mentor community, welcome to another episode of the Minds on Muscle show. Glenn and I are your fitness and business resources to help personal trainers like you scale and grow their business. We've been doing this for a long time.
Couple years now, at least a few.
It's been four or 5 years. 4
Is
years.
it that long?
Yeah, we started around the vid. Before vid. Yeah.
2024, I guess. 2020, sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome. Today we're really excited. What we want to do is, if you're listening, we want to give you a value jam-packed episode going over 3, as Glenn recommended, low-hanging fruits to help with your social media presence, no matter if you like it or not. There are 3 simple things that you can do to get going. So no matter where you are in your business, if you're a brand new personal trainer getting started, or you have a massive gym and you don't have a lot of time, these 3 things are easy things that you can do. But Glenn, how's your day going today so far?
It's going good. Woke up early, did some studying, did some clients, and then, gosh, we're doing this. What about you, Brandon?
It's going good. Really, really good. I'm feeling really good. We did a presentation on Friday. Myself and Shannon came with me. We had 22 seniors there, which was amazing. And Glenn's got a handful of leads. I think we've got 7 papers that said yes, and one said their husband was interested, maybe 2. So 8 potential leads, all from 22 people on a presentation on Friday. So that's a lot of fun. And
super sweet.
I'm super stoked. I'm actually doing another presentation. So you've been around for a while. We're big on conversion events, educational events that help trainers like you scale and grow. One of the things that I don't do very often, but I absolutely love doing, is doing presentations at kind of a higher level to nerds like us. And so I'm going to a place up the street that's a spinal rehab exercise studio, and they've got osteopath, massage, physical therapists in there, and I'm doing a presentation talking about post-activation potentiation and what we do at Strata to really help with marketing. So they got a really diverse team there, and it's just a really great way to grow and have a synergistic relationship. Really excited.
It's always fun talking and with nerds about other nerdy stuff and just being able to expand on that and double down. It's a lot of fun, I think.
Get to skip stories and you go right for the meat and potatoes.
100%.
So Glenn, if someone was like, hey, social media hierarchy, what are the 3 things? Where should someone get started?
Great question, Brandon. I think in the vein of people either not understanding social media that well or not enjoying doing it, because those folks are out there too, there's a couple things or a few things maybe that we really ought to be thinking about or focusing on. Because I get it. Not everybody wants to just create posts every day or do stories. It's not their thing. It doesn't make them excited and joy. And for some people, it might even suck the joy out, which is fine. You don't have to be on there all the time. But there are a couple things that you do got to do. And so I'll say this really, really quick, just as a quick reframe. The best way you can think about social media as an independent business owner or a personal trainer, first and foremost, if you have a one-on-one business and you want to try to get busier, is think of it as your CV, your resume, your curriculum vitae. It is going to be a lot of times the first place that people go and check out your social media to see if you're the real deal and if you walk the talk and talk the talk. And so think about it that way. Don't think about something to post on all the time. Think about even just having 9 to 12 quality posts up there is going to go a long way. And we're going to tell you what those posts should be. The very first thing you ought to be considering here is using your social media as social proof. Just like how a resume or a curriculum vitae is the proof of all the skills that you have, of all the knowledge you have, the people that you've helped, how you will bring value to a business, your social media profile ought to be a version of that where you're showing potential customers, leads, the value that you can bring to their lives if they work with you. And the question is, well, how do we go and do that? There's a couple things. The very lowest hanging fruit, easiest thing that you can do is have pictures of happy clients doing the exercise thing, happy with your services. The easiest, simplest thing. And if you want to take that simple picture idea and really double down on it, you just have to do a little bit of editing, nothing fancy, a little bit of editing, and just tell a little bit of their story in a few words. From knee pain to walking all day with her grandkids, from stuck in a chair to traveling the world, and a happy picture of them doing some exercise stuff. Really simple, easy, low-hanging fruit. I've got more to say, but that's where I would start, Brandon.
You know, I think I love that idea. One thing that in the exact same vein I've been excited about is video capturing specific demographics of people in front of me doing amazing things that typically a demographic may not see. So like if we think about someone, like as a very extreme example, someone on crutches or someone in a wheelchair, right? If you just see a photo of someone in a wheelchair in your gym, That's very good, right? That's in the same social proof. But let's say you had a video of someone and they were in a wheelchair and they were doing a chin up in your facility. And then you have that video, and that's already like a very striking video, right? Demographically, people in wheelchairs typically, not always, but typically don't do chin ups. And then if you have a voiceover or some story in the background that you're telling, you remove the sound because your gym's loud, there's talking, and you do a quick voiceover. This client's in a wheelchair. This upper back strength that they've developed has actually allowed them to do chin-ups, but far more importantly, allows them to walk and move freely around their home. This strength that they've developed helps them pull themselves out of the bed and pulls themselves into a car and allow them to have full independence despite being in a wheelchair. Now the story becomes something really compelling. It's not just about a chin-up. It's not about your gym. It's about someone who typically doesn't do something, doing something outside of what you might expect, and then a story showing that it relates back to their life. That higher level thinking is like three things in a sandwich that really comes together into this story that most people wouldn't expect to see. And your gym is the least important thing on that totem pole, but it was in your gym. And that creates a very solid subconscious impression of what goes on in your facility or goes on with you. So it's like if I get a video of Glenn, this is why I typically don't video Glenn or myself doing exercise and putting on the Strata thing. Because it's like, cool, the fit trainer, even if they have a knee problem or a back problem, you know, they're muscular, healthy, and fit. But then you take someone who is kind of like the middle-aged guy with a bit of a beer belly and he's doing this crazy exercise. That's a relatable demographic to some people. And that's a very powerful thing. Simple social proof.
Yeah, and so the social proof is like first and foremost, like numero uno number one thing. The picture just is a very simple, easy way to move that forward. The video now requires multiple different skills. It helps to be able to figure out good lighting, like a good shot, capture a good photograph, get the client happy in the right moment, doing the right things and tell the right story. And then there's a whole other thing where it's like, if we're going to have a video, then how's the lighting? What's the shot? How zoomed in or zoom out am I? Then being able to record the correct narrative over that's going to have the biggest selling feature. There's a lot more skills you have to start stacking to do the video. And we do 100% encourage you, even if you're not comfortable with it, to do that, because it is going to serve your business the better and better you get. Growing as a personal trainer in business is about skill stacking. It's about getting better at all these little things. If you get better at doing voiceovers, your education inside of your sessions gets better. Education inside of sessions gets better. All of a sudden, your presentations get better. Like all these different things have a very high amount of synergy with each other. But bringing it back to the social media hierarchy, number one, get a photo with some good text that tells a story. Number two, get a video and tell a video story. Easy voiceover is a great way to do that. You can get really complex with a lot of this different stuff. I mean, you will see if you go through Instagram yourself what there is that people do to have really high produced edited videos. One of the best things I will say to just kind of wrap up the social proof kind of topic here is while we are giving social proof, these kind of video testimonials of what it is that we do, one of the best things that you can do is scroll through Instagram, look up fitness or look up hashtag personal trainer, and see how other personal trainers who are really good at this thing are doing it, and pick out some real simple, easy formats that you might feel comfortable mimicking. That is literally how I first started, is I said, okay, if I want to get better at this and I don't want to spend a ton of time, what is the really easy, low-hanging fruit I can do? The best thing you can do is model somebody. Find something that you can model, see what's getting views, see what's working, see how they're doing, pick it apart a little bit, and then just recreate that, but with your own clients, with your own stories, doing your own thing with your own spin on it. Don't try to just do everything from the ground up, model what works, innovate off other people's stuff, and the social proof is going to be top notch. But number one, if your social media page has anything on it, it should be filled with your clients succeeding in either pictures or video format.
On that last point with Glenn, if you're thinking about modeling someone, I want to throw one thing out there that has been always really important for me, because I've always believed in standing on the shoulders of giants. Emulate before you try to create. Then once you emulate, break it down to the simple principles of what they're doing, and then start to create from there. Because you'll start to find that there's composition and shape there. We want to make sure, and no, Glenn's not saying this, and you don't want to be just copying other people's stuff all the time. You want to start there and say, okay, what works for me? What works for my brand? And then what is it about this content that worked? This is a story about X, Y, and Z. The shape of this composition is here. And once you have those principles, then the creativity, just like RTS with Tom Purvis, the exercise equation, the freedom that you get within the principles start to open up. But you got to start. And you got to find people that you like that girl, the Physio Fix, I think. She's really, like you're talking about pain demographic, right? She's a perfect person who is doing really clean content, hundreds of thousands of followers. You got to find people to model.
And her stuff is, a lot of her stuff is very easy to recreate just on Instagram. And we've done it to some pretty good success. And so we start looking at like, okay, what is the next layer of this? We got some client testimonials up there. We got some of their videos up on there. And now you're thinking to yourself, you know what? I don't dislike this Instagram or Facebook thing as much as I thought. I am actually kind of enjoying doing it. I want to do it some more. How else might I leverage this to build my business? And this is where we take this general concept that we teach in FPM throughout the whole kip and caboodle, and we just apply to Instagram, which is you have to give value, and educate and nurture. Give as much value as you can, and then make your asks once in a while. And the whole idea of doing this is that you give so much to people over time that more and more people see your page, more and more people share it with you, or your clients who probably follow you on Instagram see it as well. They start sending it to their friends because it's valuable. It's going to help them. All of a sudden, their friends who have been thinking about getting some help but weren't just necessarily ready at that time, and now they're ready, they now remember you. Right? This is the idea of becoming omnipresent, which we talk about in FPM, which is the more places you can be seen, the more often in a really good light, helping people, educating, nurturing, giving value, the more your reputation grows, the busier that you will get. And so phase 2 here is you start doing the Instagram thing, you start doing it more often, but instead of just focusing on showcasing your clients now, you're now focusing a little bit more on giving value and educating. And the best way to give value is just try to start solving some problems for free on these different platforms. Can you create a short video on the 3 best exercises to help with knee pain after a knee surgery? Can you create a video on 3 easy shoulder mobility exercises you can do from home? 3 balance exercises you can do sitting in a chair. Just throwing ideas out there, but starting to give value, educate, that is going to be the next step in this process.
And I want to add, we've been saying that for so long, if you've been around us for a while. I want to add one more word to it, and it's just make sure the content you're producing is genuinely helping people. Because we can give value and education. And I think the thing that I've discovered through a lot of our students is our students feel that they're providing value and education because the stuff that they're sharing is important to them and they're excited about it and their clients have seen results. But when you think about the cold, warm, and hot lead situation, talking about 3 different ways to use a treadmill might specifically help one client in front of you that has a cardiovascular goal and a knee problem, but someone may not find that necessarily engaging on Instagram nor apply it, and it may not actually help them. When we're thinking about things, like Glenn said, like the last example, when you do the knee surgery and the 3 exercises, there's a possibility that video could help somebody. Then if we go satellite view and you go 3 exercises to help knee problems, now we get away from the knee surgery, we go to knee problems, and this becomes a huge satellite of like, anyone with a knee thing, do these 3 things. And if anyone with a knee thing does those exercises and they feel a little better, they're going to start showing up. I've been really, and this is going to be my pick of the week, I'll come back to this, but I've been really learning a lot about heart rate training, energy systems, and cardio, and I realized how little I actually know about it. But the little bit of advice I've given some clients, especially some middle-aged men, some of them have really gotten shredded from applying some of the advice that it's like not even a part we normally do. It's just, hey, try these things. Now their friends and family are seeing them, and I just had one say that his son wants to hire me because he's seeing what his dad has done at nearly 56 years old. He's like, if he can do that with the stuff he's telling him to do at the gym with just some advice, imagine what he could do if I came in and did some time with him. So when you do this, Glenn is value and education. He's nailing it. What I want you to try and do is put yourself in the headspace of the coldest, least interested people, and how can you give something that would help them? Because if you help them, they'll show up. And they'll see other gyms and they'll be like, that guy's not like Glenn, you know? And then they'll start to show up and call. Listen, Glenn, I've been watching you for 18 months. You're the guy. I want to see you. Help people. Like Glenn said, give value, education, nurture.
That's it. And so, I mean, those are really the 2 simplest, easiest things that you can start doing on social media if you want to grow your one-on-one, in-person, personal training business, virtual too, if that's kind of your thing. Get some social proof up there first and foremost. Pin those posts.
Pin
to
those
your
good ones.
to your reels. That's right. The ones that are performing well and driving and get some good feedback on from your insights. Give value and educate, right? And the third thing here is going to be you can start using some of the other features like the stories, the questions feature. There's a whole spectrum of tools that you can use on Instagram to start driving growth on your page. And Brandon can speak more to that than I can. But ultimately, this is what it comes down to, is if you want to start expanding your online reputation, have more followers, because maybe there's an online product that you want to sell, or you want to grow your international reputation. And there is something to be said where if you do have like 20,000 followers, somebody who is in your local town who sees that, they're instantly going to give you a little bit more credibility and respect because they do see that you do have a significant amount of watchers. So they're going to assume that means that you're pretty good at what you do. That's a natural conclusion and bias for us human beings to make. If you want to do all that stuff, you have to start doubling down on all these different features and utilize everything. What Instagram, social media, all these platforms want to see is that when you put your content out there, you retain viewership on their platforms. Because the more viewership you keep on their platform, the more ads they can sell to be seen by people, which means the more money they can make. So they're going to reward you for the amount of people that are watching your content and interacting with you, that stay on your platform, that continue to come back and look at you time and time again. And that's all done by utilizing all these different features and then just having consistency. Like you really got to post every day consistently for months to really gain some real traction on Instagram, for the algorithm to really recognize you. And now we're kind of getting outside the low-hanging fruit territory. But if you're curious about what it takes to explode your platform, I've seen Brandon do it. I'm not going to talk about it.
No, I guess I want to add. I want to add because I have here. You keep going.
Brandon would be the best person to talk about it. I'm going to throw it over to him. Go ahead.
All I'm going to say is it won't necessarily take months. There's a student that I've been working with privately, experimenting with some stuff, and I gave him some advice. And he had one post go viral, and he went from 700 followers to 7,000 followers, actually over 8,000 today in 10 days. And so the reason why I'm saying that is because what Glenn said about the algorithm, this is true. If your content is not extremely unique, it will take time for you to start be seen by more and more people. But if you've got a really unique thing that people see and they're like, wow, this is amazing, and you have one post go viral, then everything can explode because people start to go doing your catalog of old stuff that maybe wasn't as popular, but it's all really good information, and it starts to blow up. All I would say is that, and this is actually advice I got from him, so he's pushing it over to me, I'm going to go back to him. I said earlier, you got to help people. If you really want a social media get engagement, there are tons of features like surveys and questions and replying to comments and messaging people. The more you use that platform, the more engagement that you're going to get. But I would say two things that I learned from Glenn. One, do everything you can to leverage people with larger followings when possible. Go with realistic ones. Like Andrew Huberman's not going to repost your stuff, but there might be someone with 100,000 followers in your same town or in the same demographic. ExerciseSciencePro.com, I don't know. I mean, you pick somebody, they might reshare your stuff. And if you got 100 followers and RTS Canada reshares it and they've got 1,000 followers, that's really good. So try to leverage that. There are great collaboration features and whatnot. Two, and this is one I got from Glenn because I am notorious for only necessarily seeing what I'm good at. Think about what you like to do. I'm comfortable on video. I've practiced really good at being good at one-liners, telling a story in one line, but I've put time into that. So is Glenn. If you prefer writing blogs, if you prefer creating cool-looking images, don't be afraid of creating whatever you like creating and putting it on whatever platform works for you. If you post on LinkedIn, there's a massive opportunity there that we're not on and other people are not on. If you like YouTube, do YouTube Shorts. That's a really great place to do it as well too, because that connects to Google and can help the SEO of your website. There's a lot of really great things. So just think about like, okay, you're sitting at home. The number of times we've heard students or prospective students say, I got to be doing more, right? It's easy for us to say, you got to do video. And honestly, right now, there's a lot of stock in video on most of these platforms. But I will say, you doing those Twitter quote style things and being consistent with it is 1,000% better algorithmically and helping people than doing nothing. And if you're doing nothing, you're going to get nothing. You got to be putting something out there. If you put something out there, make it in a initially emulate someone you like, or do it in a scope or shape that you like. And then 3, make sure you're helping people. Because if you're helping people, more people will show up because you're going to help them. And then they'll want to give you money to help them even more. And that's how a lot of these businesses grow.
I couldn't say it better myself. Totally agree, Brandon. So I think this is a good place to start wrapping it up here. You good? Sorry. You're wrapping it up. So as a quick summary here today, you don't love social media or you don't know how to use it, but you want to get started, leverage your business. The best thing you can start doing, simple, easy pictures with captions that tell a story. And if that feels good and you want to experiment some more, start doing some amazing videos that tell stories. Pin the really good ones to your page. Get some high quality stuff up there so that when prospective clients and leads see it, they know that you can help people just like them. From there, you're enjoying using the platforms. Find ones that you like, produce content that you like, and just try to give as much value as you can educationally to help grow your reputation and nurture these leads as they come through with your social media. And the third thing, if you really want to start doubling down, you start being consistent every day, find your unique content with your unique niche, utilize all the different features, start building an audience, and your platform over time will grow. I will say this last thing with social media, it's consistency. Anyone will tell you if you are consistent with any social media platform long enough, you will grow and explode because you will learn. It really like in anything else.
That's everything.
It's real. I was gonna say it's just like it's a game of atrophy essentially, right? Everyone else is gonna fall off, and you're gonna keep going, and that's what ends up making you the great at what you are.
There's a quote there's a guy that I know who's got a really successful business I like to follow. He's a drum guy. He's a standalone entrepreneur, single guy, has never grown his team. He said he doesn't like working with people. But he said one thing once that really stood out to me, like 10 years ago. And he said on a podcast, I may not be the best. I may not be the best drummer. I may not be the best business person, but I can guarantee I'm going to be the last one standing.
Right.
And he may not be literally the last one standing, but that mentality is what has allowed him to grow his quality and scale. And I want everyone here to do the same thing. Whatever it is you're doing, just be the last one there. Because people are going to show up and they're going to disappear. And that's just the way that it goes.
That's it.
With all things in life. Pick of the week.
You beat me to
I'll
it.
go first. Give you a minute.
I got mine, but you go ahead.
Okay, so just quickly, I have been, and I'm going to be honest, I am not an expert. I mean, I spent so many years of my life focusing on mechanics and studying the sciences around mechanics from Tom Purvis and everything around that. But one of my mentors said, don't do cardio. It's a waste of time. You're going to get heart rate training from resistance training. And truthfully, when I was 18, and many people that worked at Persicini's with me would know exactly what I'm talking about. And I embodied that for a long time. And I really did not do any cardiovascular training for a long time. I discovered that in my family, 5 family members within like an 18-month period of time had AFib and other heart conditions all pop up around the same time. And I discovered a great-grandparent. They're like, oh, yeah, he had a heart attack at 50, 60, and 70. I was like, what? I don't know any heart history. So I've been doubling down on learning about heart health and learning about VO2 max style training and just different ways to condition my heart and cardiovascular system and how well my body optimizes oxygen. And I can't tell you how much it's changed my life. And so here's why I say that. One thing I've talked about in RTS, when I was teaching RTS a lot for Tom Purvis, is that exercises like the squat have prerequisites. Like if you're going to squat, you need to have the conditioning to do a 45-second set if that's how long it is. You need the joint positions. You need the strength of all the muscles involved. And if you don't have all of it, you don't have ownership, there's no reason for you to be doing it. I didn't realize how poor my cardiovascular training was until I started working on it, because now I finish sets and I'm not out of breath at all. And I realized how in some instances my actual muscular training was actually, and skill-based training was limited because I was getting cardiovascular tired before my body could get there. And I just want to share that as my pick of the week. It is not like you got to go do this, but it's a self-serving, very interesting phenomenon. Very cool experience, and I'm very excited about it.
I went to jiu-jitsu for the first time in a couple of years on Friday, and I have not been keeping up with my cardio, and I got hammered. It was terrible. My pick of the week, I'm going in a real different direction than I think I usually do. I like doing tools. I like doing applicable things. I'm going to go a little bit of a different direction. I always try to study something a little bit different outside of like business stuff, either whether it be marketing or whether it be, joint mechanics or anything like that. I was always trying to like learn something new and different. And one of the things I've become really interested in recently is something called neurolinguistic programming, which I think most people's relationship to it, and mine was like, oh, you're kind of tricking people or you're trying to read people's body language. And I was like, kind of like, this is kind of seems like a little suspect. But I found a really great course. I've been watching online. It's like 40 minutes. I've been doing I do about 15 minutes to half an hour every day. And it's been wild because one of the things that I've really come to learn is it's essentially applied psychology, and it's really about like how do we communicate with other people, how do we see the world, how do we interpret the world, how do we start changing things on like a deeper neurological level so that the things that happen in real life, like the actions that we take to give us different outcomes and results, become almost automatic. And so instead of trying to force myself to change behavior, so to speak, I'm spending a lot of time learning about how my brain works and how to start just seeing the world different and reframing things so I take different actions. And it's been really, really helpful because I found that making my calls to clients for resurrections and also after these seminars are going a lot better because I've been asking different questions and I've also been reframing it differently in my brain. I'm a lot more calm when I have situations that get a little heated or things don't go the way I want to. And it's all been really, really beneficial. So I suppose my pick of the week this week, I want to see it's a neurolinguistic programming, but I think it's really just a heightened sense of self-awareness, taking the time in your life to not just take action all the time, but different actions. And one of the different actions I recommend taking is spend a little bit of time reviewing if things are working and how you're doing them. Review your systems, review how that last call went before you make your next one to see what you can improve on. Get yourself in a better state of mind. I would rather make 2 to 3 calls in an hour and take my time preparing for them and having them go really, really well and potentially get another lead in or have someone feeling like they're really empowered after that conversation than to just get 5 subpar conversations in and maybe help one person a little bit. And so sometimes the whole idea of like slow down the process to speed up the results is really helpful. And in that time when you slow it down, just like review what you're doing, because unless you have awareness to what's working, what's not working, you can't grow. So my pick of the week, short of the long, is, I'm learning NLP and I think it's great, but also just be more aware and take your time to breathe and bring more awareness to yourself, because it will help you improve at an exponential rate and you'll get better results in your life. So awareness is my pick of the week in the end. It just kind of got there naturally.
Awareness is the agent of change.
Amen. I like it.
All right, everybody. Fitness Pro Mentors, thanks so much for being here. I love both our pick of the week. That's kind of fun. You do both of those, you're going to be super smart, focused, and shredded.
100%.
Everyone, thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions about anything we talked about or struggling with any of the technical social media stuff, send us a message. Glenn and I or Taylor would love to help. Fitness Pro Mentors, Minds on Muscle. We'll see you guys soon.
Take care, everybody.